In normal traffic, my car runs like a Swiss watch. But if it's stuck in a traffic jam, the engine eventually misfires and then stalls. After cooling down, the engine starts again quite easily. These are all classic signs of a vapour lock. Let's take a look under the bonnet. I've got a 1275 engine and it may look a bit different from yours, but the same principles apply on any car of this period. There's the copper pipe from the tank to the fuel pump, and immediately we can see how close it is to the exhaust manifold. When it gets hot, the petrol turns to vapour, the fuel pump can't pump it, and the engine stalls. So let's fix it. To start with, we'll remove the carburetor. This is a stub stack filter from Med Engineering. Now we'll remove the distributor vacuum advance line, then the throttle and choke cables. Next, we remove the line to the crankcase breather system. Before disconnecting the fuel line, we'll make sure the engine is stone cold and the battery is disconnected. I also like to have an extinguisher and a fire blanket handy whenever I'm working on the fuel system. Better safe than sorry. To minimize fuel spill, we'll disconnect the pipe at the pump end. Now we can undo the 4 nuts holding the carburetor and remove it. Next, we'll take off the heat shield and the spacer. This is a heated manifold, so we'll need to disconnect the front water pipe. We'll leave the rear one connected to reduce water spillage. Next, the vacuum line to the brake servo. Now we can remove the nuts retaining the inlet manifold and take it off. Now we have much better access to the manifold. We need some exhaust wrapping tape to insulate the exhaust manifold. It's made of fiberglass, so it's best to wear gloves and a dust mask. Long sleeves too if you're sensitive. Some kits come with wire clips, but they aren't very strong, so I'm going to use stainless steel hose clips. It would be easier to wrap the manifold if it was completely removed from the car, but then we'd have the work of removing it and the work of replacing it. I reckon it's less work to wrap it where it is. First, we'll pre-position a couple of hose clips on the front branch. We'll take about 2 meters of tape and soak it in water. This will help us shape the tape to the pipe and minimize shedding of glass fiber fragments. We'll secure one end with the hose clip and carefully bind the pipe, overlapping the tape by at least 1/3. Now we'll pull everything tight and secure the top with another hose clip. Make sure the protruding part of the hose clip is well out of the way so it doesn't foul the inlet manifold. Next, we'll do the same to the rear branch. We need about 3 meters of tape for that, and we'll need to get under the car to reach the end of the branch. And finally, we'll do the center branch, again making sure that the hose clip is underneath and won't foul anything. And that's the binding finished. Next, we have a length of heat tubing. It's designed to protect lines or wiring. It's got 2 strips of Velcro that press together to form a tube. We'll cut this to length and fit it carefully over our copper fuel line. Now we can put back the inlet manifold. We'll reconnect the front water pipe, then the servo vacuum line. Next comes the spacer plate. The one we took off is solid metal, which of course can conduct heat to the carburetor. We'll swap that for an insulated spacer. Next comes the heat shield, then the carburetor. Next, the crankcase breather line and the fuel line. Then the throttle cable, the distributor vacuum advance line, and then the choke. We'll refit the stub stack and air filter, and we're done. We've insulated the exhaust manifold, protected the fuel line from heat, and fitted an insulated spacer. The manifold insulating tape needs to cure, so it's going to smoke quite a bit when you first start the engine, but it soon settles down. And that should be the end of our fuel vaporization problems. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.